You just heard the pitch from Maisie Devine. She is the founder of Poacht. So in case you missed it, it is a platform for covert job searching. So it enables employers to recruit the most qualified, currently employed candidates by ranking and matching the candidate to an open position on the platform. We're going to bring in the judges right now. Scott Kurnit, all the way down, founder and CEO of KeepIt.com. Renee Park, High Peaks Venture Partners, and Pete Snyder, the CEO of Disruptor Capital. Scott, we're going to start with you. What did you make of the pitch?
So amazing. My question is, the most famous cartoon ever on the internet was the New Yorker one, and that is that no one knows you're a dog on the internet. That's been proven false. Kind of everyone knows everything about you on the internet. How do you keep it covert? And if you can't, it doesn't work.
So we do a few things to keep the identity hidden. So the employers cannot see name, picture, or contact information when they're initially viewing a profile. And then the rest we leave up to the candidate. It's for them to decide how much information the employer sees.
But I need to tell you where I worked and what I did, and if they work for me, I better know that, so I don't think it's covert.
For the person is able to self-select what information they're providing. So they can say, instead of I worked at Google, I work at a top tech firm, and obfuscate the position to say I was in a product management role instead of something very specific. So it's really up to them how much information they give and how much to constrict.
Renee, did you have some of the same concerns as Scott?
Yeah, but on my end, I was wondering how effective this Poacht has been for both employers and employees in actually hiring them in response times, as well as just percentage of responses if an employer reaches out. Because if I was actually using this as an employer, that would be one of my top priorities and concerns. I think LinkedIn has a low response rate.
Sure. So LinkedIn's response rate, the company self-reports at around 11%. And for Poacht, employers are getting a 50% response rate, so it's quite high in comparison to industry standards. We've already started placing candidates in jobs, and we have around 70 candidates in final round interviews right now. In addition to that, we're also seeing that the sourcing times for companies is around 40% less than usual, because they're able to zero in on the people that they really, really want, the skill sets they need, and reach out to them directly, knowing how much money would entice them to leave, how serious they are about leaving, those kind of really basic, necessary things when you're trying to switch jobs.
Pete, what's been your take so far?
Well, first and foremost, Maisie, love the passion that you have. No entrepreneurs are going to succeed if you don't have passion. I guess my question would be, there are dozens of Tinder-style apps aimed at the jobs market. How is Poacht different?
Sure. So at Poacht, we don't want something as casual as a Tinder swipe model. Jobs are arguably the most important thing that you do every day. And so for us, it's really important that we continue to keep it very serious. We have a mobile app for the candidates, but it's very much set it and leave it. Our candidates are busy. They're crunched for time. They don't have time. They don't want to be swiping through jobs or applying to jobs that maybe they're not going to hear back from for a while. So they set their preferences and leave it. They only get a notification from the app when an employer wants to talk to them. So it really speeds along the process. They know when they're getting an outreach that it's from someone at the company who's seen their profile and really thinks that it is an interesting match for that company. And so that's why we have so much great response rates from the candidates.
I almost wonder how much you're going against technology and how much you're just going against natural human networking, right? Sometimes it's just easier to tell 3 or 4 people that you trust that you're open to new opportunities.
Right, absolutely. But we also see that companies, sometimes that takes a little while to get the word out, and companies need to fill positions much, much faster than that. So they have to go and take the initiative. And at times we even have teams who are not the HR departments, but actual teams who are going on. They know what they need. They know the skill sets that they're looking for, and they tap people and bring them into interview.
So, Scott, as the founder of Keep.com, would you use a service like this if you were recruiting?
So I'd use the service, but I don't think I'd put myself in the service. So I'd then have the question as to the people that are in it, would I actually know enough about them? My biggest fear is, since I don't think this has been done before and the internet is less secure by the second, that if this wasn't done 5 years ago, I worry that it's being done today, and it scares me.
Renee, do you have some of the similar security concerns?
I think it depends on what they're putting on there, and if you're willing to put it on LinkedIn, you're generally probably willing to put it on any other platform. I've seen a number of different iterations of trying to address this using Tinder for a job searching problem, and I would have concerns around how you're attracting customers and users to actually download your app and go over that barrier of the action of downloading.
Sure. Oh, sorry. So, again, I want to stress that we are not Tinder for Jobs in any facet. It's the only thing that's even similar is that it's mobile. And so, for us, it's been primarily press-driven and word of mouth that's gotten us the great candidates that we have on the platform.
So we're going to skip to lightning. Yes or no, would you introduce Maisie to your investing partners?
So I like the idea of Tinder for Jobs, but that's another story. I'm kidding. They have 30 million users. No. I have the security problem that the best candidates are not going to expose themselves.
Renee?
I think it's a really interesting problem that you're addressing, and it's a real pain point for both brands, companies, as well as candidates. And so it would be something that I would be interested in going into a bit further and learning more about and seeing how companies react in terms of whether they, and as well as consumers in terms of adoption and how they would use the platform.
You have an easy one because you have a partner that's looking at it, don't you?
I'm less concerned about the privacy issues. Look, we live in a mobile and share economy. I think this is going to be a great opportunity to attract millennials and even younger in the workforce. I'd use it. I'd invest.
All right. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Maisie. That is this week's elevator pitch. We have a very quick break to take. We are